Okay, over the last few years, we have gone from letting the ratings determine the national championship to a four-team playoff, and coming up is a 12-team playoff, and they're already planning to expand that. So how should it play out, and how might it play out? I'm going to talk about that in just a few moments after I say things like, this is WVU Football Going Deep. I am Forrest Poston. I may or may not know what I'm talking about, and what I make up may or may not make sense. And just because it makes sense doesn't mean it's right, but we can always hope. In the meantime, please subscribe, share, tell your friends, click the thumbs up button, click the notification bell, and make copious comments, preferably insightful, positive comments about just how good I am. Okay, you can focus on the team. Now, 12-team playoff. First of all, this is already replacing the original plan, which called for having the six highest ranked conference champions plus the next six highest ranked teams. I imagine the change came because of there's no longer a Power 5. It's now Power 4 conferences for the time being. So they changed to the five highest ranked conference champions instead of six, and then the next seven highest ranked teams. The ideal would be that you end up with the 12 highest ranked teams. Doesn't necessarily work that way. And keep in mind that winning the conference championship does not guarantee entry into the tournament. It simply makes it extremely likely. More than likely, every year, the champions of the Power 4, Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12, as long as there is an ACC, will be ranked high enough to get spots. And then would assume that one group of five, the highest rank champion of group of five conferences, will get a spot. But it is possible, and I'd say, in theory, ACC or Big 12, the teams could just chew each other up so much, parity, that the conference champion isn't ranked higher than two group of five champions. That's how it would, you would have to have two non-Power 4 conference champions ranked higher than one of the Power 4 champions before it's not automatic. So, essentially, it's an automatic bid, except it's not an automatic bid. And I imagine they wrote it that way just to allow the appearance of hope. So it appears to be completely balanced, even though in reality it does favor the Power 4. And that's fine. It's not going to change anything in terms of who ends up winning the national championship. The Cinderella runs will almost certainly be far fewer than what you see in basketball. It's not going to change much of anything in reality except how much money the NCAA and a couple of schools make and how long the season is for some players. And that's actually the part that worries me, because I think we may see a lot more injuries in those last 2 or 3 games. I mean, these are, like, once we get all of the COVID and assorted, extra long super senior types out, we are talking about guys who are 18 to 23, maybe 24 years old. And whether or not their bodies can really handle this many games worries me. But if you like college football, it means the season is longer for you. In terms of anything significant, not going to change. I doubt 1 year in 20 it might change who ends up winning the national championship. Although it won't be around for 20 years, so we won't be able to prove that. The first games will be played at the home field of the highest ranked team. And of course, the 4 highest ranked conference champions get a bye. And once again, in practice, that will probably mean the winners of the Power 4 conferences will get a bye. Eventually, we work it into where the January bowls are the key bowls, are the games on a rotating basis. And for the championship game, it will go to the highest bidder. I suppose that's fair. But mostly, it's sort of a publicity thing to make fans and some schools believe that the NCAA is after fairness. In reality, it's money, and it's money. And it won't really change anything. And then they'll up the number of teams, and we'll go all over this again. No. I had a request to talk about the 12-team playoff, what is supposed to happen and how it could end up happening instead, the difference between what people expect and how it's actually written. I haven't gotten around to it. Lots of things have gotten in the way, so it's time to take care of this, get this request out of the way. And I do appreciate suggestions and requests. So I'm going to talk about 12-team playoff format as soon as I say things like, this is WVU football going deep. I am Forrest Poston. I am flustered, sweaty, and confused. And I will try to not add to your confusion or to mine. Meanwhile, please subscribe, share, tell your friends, make copious comments, hopefully positive, click the thumbs up, and click the notification bell. 12-team format. First thing, okay, it's briefly a 12-team format, then they'll raise it. They've already made changes for how the 12-team format works. Originally, it was set to be the conference champion, the 6 highest rated conference champions would be in the playoff, plus the next 6 highest ranked teams. They changed that. I assume it was because of all that happened with the Pac-12. There were 5 Power conferences. Now there are 4. So it's been written as the 5 highest ranked conference champions, and the next 7 highest ranked teams are in the playoff. So people talk like winning the conference championship gets you an automatic bid. In the way it's written, no. In practice, that's how it's going to play out essentially every year. But there are some quirks that could go wrong. The 5th opening is likely to be taken by a group of 5 conference, whoever the highest ranked conference winner is of those conferences. But it is possible, and this is particularly when you have parity. So the Big 12 is perhaps, I won't say most likely, but the least unlikely. Because if the teams in the Big 12 beat up on each other enough, and you've got 2 teams with 3 losses, a 3-loss team and a 4-loss team in the conference championship game, it's possible the winner of that game would be ranked lower than winners from 2 of the group of 5 conferences. And that's what it would take. You would have to have 2 group of 5 conferences with teams ranked higher than the winner of the Big 12 or one of the other conferences. So that's pretty unlikely. And even if you have a 3-loss team win the conference, there's a good chance they'll still be ranked higher than at least one of the group of 5. Because last year, Liberty was the highest ranked of the group of 5 conference winners. They were 23. So you would have to have a pretty low ranked Power 4 conference champion to end up with the group of 5 champions ahead. But it is possible. So just to remember, winning the conference championship is not an automatic bid technically, but in practice it probably is. Now, where games are played, the first round, of course, the 4 highest ranked conference champions get a bye, probably the Power 4 champions. And the first round games are played on the home field of the highest ranked team. That's a pretty common approach. Then you work it to, eventually I think it's the quarterfinal games become your January 1st bowls, your major bowls. There are more bowls than there are games, so it will rotate among those. When you get to the national championship game, the finals, that goes to the highest bidder. So we're back to money. And to be honest, this whole 12-team playoff thing is about money. NCAA wants to pretend that they're trying to be more fair, so you don't have all of the issues about who got left out, who got in. But it's not likely that you're going to see any seriously different result. A lot of the first round games and even a good number of the second round games will be blowouts. And even the championship game has not necessarily been a good game. But I guess this does increase the chances of a good game along the way. But mostly it doesn't change that much. And pretty much we'll see the, whoever was going to win with any format they have used is still the team most likely to win. The one thing that does concern me is that for the teams that continue winning, the additional number of games racks up pretty significantly, and I start to worry about major injuries. I'm not sure it's worth it. I suppose guys are less likely to sit games out, but that just means you still got that major injury issue. But we will have a few extra weeks of college football this year, so that'll make some people happy, especially, I guess, ESPN and their like. Okay, not sure if I've answered questions. I am utterly frayed and frazzled today. It's been hectic, but there it is. I've done the video. That was the fourth or fifth take, and I'm not going to try another. We'll just live with it. Coming up here in the next day or so, I will be doing my preview for the Pitt game, the keys, and the questions, which replaces what I used to call the Sunday questions video. And then after the Pitt game will be the post-game live show, or the live post-game show, however you prefer. And Sunday I will do a little closer analysis based on having had some time to think, plus having had a chance to watch the coaches' press conferences. Meanwhile, have some fun. I think I'm going to go look for some caffeine. So long.